analysis is pretty hard. For my job at UO Science Engagement, I'm a data science intern. I'm returning again this summer from the last summer. And what the project or what my internship largely entailed last summer was building the internal and external AI tools. And it's been great to see the deployment of that, especially this summer as we have more people testing it out and it's going to be fully released. So that's been great. But also what that entails as a data science intern is analyzing data, which is typically the first project. Yet for some reason, I always underestimate how hard it's going to be. Like for some reason, I feel like right now with coding agents, you should be able to just say, hey, analyze this data pretty well and give me the data I need to create the report. Or you can even say, hey, Claude Code, or create the report for me, right? And to a degree you can, but then it just does like, it doesn't paint the full picture. And I think, at least in my experience, their analysis is 90% thinking, right? So they think about, okay, what data do I have on hand? What's the limitation of the data? What's the quality of the data? And how can I best extract the story I want? Or this, how can I best reveal the story within the data, right? And it's not easy because data, it just isn't perfect, right? And when I say that, it seems like it makes sense, but when you actually experience it, it's very messy in very weird ways. Like if you think like even the open FDA database I'm pulling from now, it's a very clean database. They've done a good job, but then to even get certain stuff done, it's a bit hard. So for example, now I'm mapping up my report. I was like, okay, I want to see the causes of a lot of these reports because like there's millions for injuries, for malfunctions, for deaths. Sadly, yeah, I want to understand what's the actual cause behind this. So I'm trying to do a topic clustering, but you have to remember for these reports, they're coming from a bunch of different products, and different products means different ways of reporting them, and different reporters also report stuff in different ways. So there's no standardized way of reporting per se, and as such, there's a bunch of boilerplate like text that there's a bunch of boilerplate text with a small narrative text. So imagine, I have not to use here. Okay, imagine this bottle of water, right? So basically, the boilerplate text is the empty part of the water, and the actual report, the actual narrative text of what happened is this amount. And as such, if you're to embed that and then try and do topic clustering, it largely skews towards the boilerplate text. So stuff that would be closer together would be stuff that have a similar boilerplate text, which isn't ideal and it doesn't do a proper job. Because what I want to do is then label the topics of the hazards. I can paint a really good picture of, okay, what hazards are really causing the issues here. So that's something that's like, okay, I didn't think about that initially because I don't know how the data for medical stuff works. And that's something I have to actually look through. I have to find a way to go clean it. And that's just one problem I've run into as I'm working on this project. I think it's interesting because I always I don't say I think the analysis is an easy job, but then it's just something I never ranked in my head as like really hard to do. And maybe it's still not really hard to do. Maybe I just lack experience. Yet, I think it's been fun. It's been been a good puzzle. I think because on one hand, you have a bunch of little challenges you have to solve, but on the other hand, you're painting like this full story. So it's almost like this game where it's like, okay, after each level, you get a piece of the puzzle, and then at the end of the whole thing, you really get the whole story. So I remember, I think it was last week, maybe this week, I was in the office, and then there was this weird anomaly in the data. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Then I did a bunch of analysis. I tried a bunch of different tricks, and I finally understood what's going on. I was able to very clearly just reveal it. It was like the most amazing feeling ever. Cause like, oh dang, like I really unlocked this thing by thinking. But yeah, I guess that's it really. I just think people should. I think I should really. I think I don't engage with data analysis tips or just content enough. I think there's a lot for me to still learn. The way I largely looked at this internship was much more from the lens of building AI tools, which is a good chunk of my work, but also another aspect is really analyzing data. I think even with building AI tools, those AI tools operate on data, whether it's the data they're producing, whether it's the data they're ingesting, and so you have to have a really good way to understand data almost intuitively, or just understand how to understand data. So I think we have to kind of walk on this other aspect, like the Peter Parker aspect of this internship, which is the data analysis. So hopefully I can get that done. I'm almost done with the report, so just need to get this done, and then I'll start moving on to the more building AI tools, and from there I'm actually do some evaluation, which is also be another form of data handling. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.